Foxy the Pirate is probably the most outstanding animatronic of the gang. He has a unique design and is very recognizable with his hook and eye lap. His game mechanics are always different from the rest, which makes him very special. If I would ask all the FNAF fans which animatronic is their favorite out of the 4, I think 80% would say Foxy. There are so many different versions of Foxy and they are all unique on their own way. So I want to rank them all and see which Foxy is peak and which one is trash. I do include Mangle in this tier list because he needs to represent Foxy, and in the movie they even call her Foxy. But I don't include the FNAF AR Foxies, because they are just reskins and have no lore. Now let's start ranking the Foxies by looking at our first design, FNAF 1 Foxy. This is the first ever Foxy we see in the FNAF games, and I love him. If we look at the design of him, he's definitely different than the rest of the animatronics. He's the only one that has exposed endoskeleton parts, like his feet and hands. And Foxy is also the only one that has a theme going on. He needs to represent a pirate. You can see this by his hook on his right arm and eye lap. Freddy, Bonnie and Chica don't have this. Yes, Freddy has a top hat and bow tie, but he's not called Freddy the Gentleman. Foxy's game mechanic is also very unique. In the game, you have to keep an eye on the Pirate Cove and see if Foxy doesn't make a run for it. If he does, you quickly close the door so he doesn't have the chance to jump scare you. He's the only animatronic we see running in the cameras. Yes, Bonnie too, but that was only in the trailers. The only weak point of this Foxy is his jump scare. Instead of yapping in front of our face, he just peeks around the corner and starts screaming. It doesn't really get you, but it doesn't bother me. I love FNAF 1 Foxy and I think he deserves the peak rank. Fun fact, in the FNAF 1 movie, there is a behind the scene picture of Foxy, but with no withering. This is the only time we see Foxy with fixed legs. In FNAF 2, Withered Foxy is not the only damaged animatronic. His friends are also destroyed. That's why they called Withers, duh. Because of this, it makes Withered Foxy a bit less unique, but he still looks very cool. He has the same withering as the original Foxy and misses a part of his ear. His jaw is much longer and has now sharper teeth. And yes, he still has his hook and eye lap. In the game, Withered Foxy is the only one that can see through the mask. So to stop him, we just have to make him blind, but Withered Foxy's jump scare is probably one of the most iconic FNAF jump scares. When he catches you, he jumps full speed at you. There are so many memes of this jump scare and even mods for other games. He also has an eerie Easter egg where he just stands in the parts and service room, looking at the ground, doing absolutely nothing. Withered Foxy is a great character, and because he has the most iconic FNAF jump scare, I'll put him on peak. Mangle is a weird mangled form of an endoskeleton. You see what I did there? The reason Mangle looks like this is because he was a pull apart and put back together animatronic. But the kids have 0 brain cells and had no idea how to put it back together. There are limbs on places where they shouldn't be, and she even got a second head. Instead of a voice, she makes static radio sounds, which really fits the animatronic. Eventually he got a voice in UCN, but I like his radio static more. One of the weak points of Mangle is how she looks on the camera. When she moves from the cameras, it looks like Scott just copy pasted her on the camera. It doesn't look natural to me. If she jump scares us, she takes a huge bite on the player. Because of this, some people believe that Mangle did the bite of 87, which makes sense. I also love his animations in FNAF Help Wanted. The way he crawls inside the office is really sick. We also don't know Mangle's gender, so that's why I keep switching pronouns. Mangle is a cool character, and I think it deserves the Fantastic rank. Now over to Phantom Foxy and Phantom Mangle. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like the Phantoms, and I think I'm not the only one. They are just recolors of existing animatronics, and some of them are missing a hand or feet. What I find weird of Phantom Foxy is that he's based on Withered Foxy, not original Foxy. Freddy and Chica are based on the FNAF 1 designs, but Foxy not. I don't have much to say about these animatronics. Like I said, they are just recolors. I like the fact that Phantom Foxy still jumps at you like Withered Foxy did, and Scott made Phantom Mangle really annoying by giving her this horrible sound. I'll put them both on the trash rank. They are in my opinion the most forgettable animatronics. Nightmare Foxy has a sick design. He has a lot of withering and his jaw is filled with sharp teeth. I also love that the body part of his snout is missing and just has this metal frame exposed. Unfortunate, this version of Foxy doesn't have an eye lap, probably because of all the damage. I find Nightmare Foxy's game mechanic also very funny. Instead of jump scaring you when he reaches the bedroom, he just hides in the closet. He literally has the opportunity to kill you, but instead he gives you a second chance. Nightmare Foxy also has a non-lethal jump scare when you flash him in the closet. There's nothing bad to say about him, he looks awesome and has a great jump scare. I put him on Fantastic. If we switch to the Halloween version of FNAF 4, we encounter Nightmare Mangle. She looks exactly the same as the original Mangle, but all her endoskeleton parts have been replaced by nightmarish parts. Her head looks exactly the same as Nightmare Foxy's head, which makes sense, and I love that her second head also has changed into a Nightmare endoskeleton head. In the Halloween update, he replaces Foxy, so his game mechanics are exactly the same. I do like Nightmare Mangle's jumpscare more than Nightmare Foxy's jumpscare. It's a much bigger animatronic, so you see a lot of parts of her in the background, like her second endo head. Although it's a great design, I do put Nightmare Mangle on the great list. All the parts you see on Mangle are just reused parts of the Nightmare animatronics. I did include one FNAF World character in this tier list, and that's Funtime Foxy. It is basically a new character, although it looks like a fixed version of Mangle. It's interesting that it's called Funtime Foxy, because FNAF World was before Sister Location. So this character basically told us that the next gang will be called the Funtime Animatronics. The FNAF World characters are very simple and don't have a lot of detail on them. Funtime Foxy does have a hook like all the other Foxies, but does misses the eye lap again. Why? She also has a tail which is much bigger than Mangle's small doggy tail. It's a cute design like all the other FNAF World characters, but it doesn't really compete with the other Foxies. I put him on meh. I think it's still better than the Phantoms. I also included Twisted Foxy from the Twisted ones. Yes, he only appears in the books, I know, but he got merged and the Twisted animatronics are so interesting. There's only one official artwork of Twisted Foxy that I know, and that's this one. It reminds me a lot of Nightmare Foxy, the double jaw, sharp teeth and withering on his body. I like that his hook is melted into these barnacles. It shows a bit more that Foxy's a pirate that sails the 7 seas. Also, Twisted Foxy doesn't show his feet, he just digs himself into a hole. It's funny that Funko didn't create their own legs for Foxy and put him in this dirt hole. If I'm right, the Twisted animatronics don't really look like this, but look more like normal animatronics. They have these illusional discs that transform them into nightmarish animatronics. I'm not sure if this is true, I've never read the books before, but if this is true, it makes the animatronics a bit less interesting. But then again, maybe that's also how the Nightmare animatronics work, with the Withered Afton gas. I have no idea. Twisted Foxy goes right into the meh rank. I just need to see more of him. Let's go back to a canon FNAF game, Sister Location. Funtime Foxy's design looks a lot like Adventure Funtime Foxy from FNAF World. This Funtime Foxy does not have a hook or eye lap, so I guess William Afton didn't like pirates. What I love about this Foxy is the huge tail he has. It immediately stands out. I also like that his voice is a bit distorted and not very clear.
It seems you couldn't make it to my show, so I brought the show to you.
It really sounds like it comes out of the voice box in front of his chest. Funtime Foxy's jump scare is amazing. Seeing all the faceplates open and revealing the endoskeleton is so cool. Fun fact, Funtime Foxy is the only animatronic with a canon jump scare. In Night 3, the player needs to get jump scared by Funtime Foxy to progress in the game. He also got the scariest level in Help Wanted. It's the exact same way on how you play it in Sister Location, but doing it in VR makes it 10 times scarier. And he's also known by being the hardest character in UCN. You need to check on him on a specific hour, but in 50-20 mode you don't have time for that. So most of the people just defcoin him. Funtime Foxy is therefore a very recognizable character. The only one with a canon jump scare, the scariest animatronic in Help Wanted, and the hardest animatronic to deal with in UCN. He deserves to be on the peak rank. He's also my favorite Funtime animatronic, so that's another point. Let's recolor Funtime Foxy and take a look at Lolbit. It's the exact same animatronic with a different paint color. Lolbit does have two things that make him a bit recognizable. First of all, he has no eyebrows. Funko somehow messed this up and gave every Lolbit eyebrows. They probably just took an existing Funtime Foxy figure and still painted the eyebrows. They also simply could not paint it, like what Steel did in Help Wanted, but whatever. And Lolbit has no eyes. Instead we see these white spots that look like spirit eyes. In Sister Location, there is a small chance where the ended mask will get replaced by a Lolbit head, which is a fun Easter egg. His game mechanic in Sister Location and UCN is very funny. When he appears on your screen, you quickly need to type in LOL. Get it? Because he's called Lolbit? Most of the time, we only see Lolbit's head. I think the only time we see the complete animatronic is in Help Wanted. Lolbit is definitely one of my favorite recalled animatronics. He has a funny game mechanic and has cool merch. But it's still the same design as Funtime Foxy, and I think I can't put it higher than great. Rockstar Foxy is just normal Foxy, but with a lot more pirate upgrades. He got his hook and eye lap back, and they even gave him a peg leg. Rockstar Foxy comes now with a second animatronic on his shoulder, his trusty pirate parrot, who also got an eye lap. How cute. And to finish his pirate look, they gave him an accordion as instrument. I guess it's a bit hard to see a pirate animatronic in Foxy, but definitely not on this one. There's not much interaction with him in FNAF 6. You can only buy him in blueprint mode. In UCN, he's a very interesting animatronic. When you see his bird flying past you and click on him, you have a 50-50 chance of getting killed. If you don't get jump scared, he will actually help you by giving you a few helpful options to choose from. Unfortunate for me, the Rockstar animatronics are a bit forgettable. In FNAF 6, it's all about the remaining 4 animatronics, and all the other animatronics in the game are just background characters. But that's not a reason to put Rockstar Foxy low in the tier list. I'll put him on Fantastic. His design is great. In Cursed Dreadbear, we got 2 new Foxy characters. Well, technically 1. Let's first take a look at Captain Foxy. This is literally original Foxy from FNAF 1, but this time he has a coat and pirate hat, which makes him look more like a real pirate. We see this animatronic on the pirate ride, where Foxy explains us what we need to do. I love his pirate accent and the specific line he has in the ride.
Do your best, or I'll send you to Davy Jones's locker.
Pirates of the Caribbean is one of my favorite movies, and I love that Steel made a reference to this. There is not much more to say about this Foxy. He looks nice and has a great voice. He goes into the great list. Grim Foxy is one of the new Halloween animatronics. He's basically just a continuation of the Jacko animatronics. So you would say that Grim Foxy is just a Halloween version of Nightmare Foxy, but that's not really the case. If you look at Grim Foxy's head and compare it with Nightmare Foxy's head, you can see the difference. Grim Foxy's jaw is much thinner and his head is more round. He also has exposed endo ears with no fabric left on it. But the biggest change of all, he got his eyelid back. That's definitely a big win. Some more things Steel will add on Grim Foxy is the giant hook. It's not even a hook anymore, but a sickle. He also has these huge furry shoulders like original Foxy had. The animations of Grim Foxy are really sick, especially the one on the death menu. He just stands there looking at you behind the gate while he's sharpening his giant sickle. There's even one level that's all dedicated to him, and that's Score Maze. Here you have to escape the maze while Grim Foxy is after you. It's a fun level if you want to beat it the normal way, but if you want to go for the secret exit, it can be very annoying. You have to collect all the keys and that can take very long. If you're not used to play VR games, this level can make you a little nauseous. So this level has a bit of quirks, but the design and animations are amazing. Grim Foxy is my favorite Halloween character and with no doubt it deserves the peak rank. We don't have a lot of new Foxy characters in the newer FNAF games. Only in Secret of the Mimic we have 2 new characters. The first one is Puppet Foxy. We see this character for a brief moment in the Puppet Show. This is the first Foxy character that's not an animatronic. And it's also the first ever design of Foxy. In this game, we get to know that Maurice Custom Manor was the original creator of Foxy. Fazbear Entertainment stole the character, just like Chica. If we take a look at the design of the puppet, we see that it already looks a lot like the original Foxy. It has a hook, a button eye lap, and even a coat and earring. The puppet is held by 3 sticks that can make him move and perform. In the previous Help Wanted games, we hear Foxy saying that friendship was the real treasure all along. He stole this line from the Puppet Foxy.
The perfect present was friendship all along.
It was Edwin's message to the kids, not Fazbear Entertainment. Unfortunate, Puppet Foxy is probably destroyed in the fire to never see again. Compared to the rest of the Foxies, is Puppet Foxy not really a recognizable character. I put him on meh. The next Foxy character is not really a new one. It's the prototype Foxy. Just like that Fazbear Entertainment stole Foxy the character, they also stole Foxy's design. This is just an unfinished version of FNAF 1 Foxy. He has no legs and misses a lot of the reddish color. Yeah, there's not much to say about his character. It's just the first version of FNAF 1 Foxy. I give him the meh rank. These are all the Foxies we have in the games and books. But I want to add 2 more characters to this tier list. Just because they are based on Foxy's design. Twisted Wolf and Roxanne Wolf. I'll start with Twisted Wolf. Just like Twisted Foxy, we only have 1 official artwork of him. There's something special on his design. He is half humanized and half animatronic. You can see that his body starts glitching into an animatronic, which looks really cool. The Funko Pop also shows this more in detail, although I got to say it looks more like diamond ore. But just like Twisted Foxy, I just want to see more of this character, so I will put him on the same rank as Twisted Foxy, meh. Instead of ranking all the different versions of Roxy, I ranked them into 1. Like I said, Roxy looks very much like a Foxy animatronic. Her head shape is a bit different and her jaw is not separated from the head. She got long hair and looks a lot like the Funtime animatronics with the shiny shell. Roxy is probably the only animatronic in this list with a big personality. In Security Breach, she's this bitchy girl that keeps saying how good she looks until we ruin her whole life. But in Ruin, we get to see her real personality and see that she's also a caring animatronic like Glamour Freddy. If you don't believe me, she tried fighting the Mimic for us, which is basically suicide. The Mimic is one of the strongest animatronics in the game. And did you also know that Roxanne Wolf can jump like the Withered Foxy jump scare? There's a lot to like on Roxanne. Her design is great, especially the Shattered and Ruined version, the animations look good, and she has a lot of personality, something you can't say about all the other Foxies. She deserves a spot on the peak rank. And there you have it, all the Foxies and Wolves ranked. Do you agree with my list, or would you like to jump scare me with a Withered Foxy jump? And do you hate me now by not including the sexy Roxanne Wolf from Freddy Into Space? Let me know what's your favorite Foxy animatronic down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more ranking videos.